The Quad King, American Nathan Chen, completed his coronation, winning the gold medal in men's figure skating. He adds the coveted gold to his 3 world championships. In snowboarding, Chloe Kim of the U.S. was dominant in women's halfpipe, becoming the first woman to win back-to-back gold in that event. Kim had the top score after the first of 3 runs, and nobody could catch up. Also, Lindsey Jacobellis captured the first U.S. gold medal of the 2022 Winter Games, a full 16 years after a mistake in the 2006 snowboard cross final cost her the title. In curling, the U.S. men's team opened their title defense with a narrow 6-5 victory over the Russian Olympic Committee team, while the U.S. women's team was dominant in a 9-3 victory over ROC. And in a show of solidarity, Simone Biles and other athletes rallied around Mikaela Shiffrin, filling social media with an outpouring of support after 2 early stumbles for the U.S. star.
Well, it was certainly a good night for Team USA, and of course, some of those tributes for Mikaela Shiffrin. And we're going to have a bit more on Mikaela Shiffrin here with our very own Matt Renoux, who actually joins us today from the Olympic and Paralympic Museum in Colorado Springs. Matt, thanks so much for taking the time to join us there. And Matt, my understanding is you are at the lab, which is kind of an interactive form of museums. Give us an idea about what you're seeing out there today.
Yeah, hey Chris. Yeah, the U.S. Olympic Paralympic Museum here in Colorado Springs, where there are a lot of different places. The lab focuses on technology. We're going to walk over there maybe in a second. This is one of the really more interactive areas right next to it, and it's a place where you can. What are we doing here? You can do skeleton. I've already done it, and now it's stuck. So you can do some of these interactive things. You can skeleton, you can ski, you can do archery, and it's all interactive to give people a perspective of what the Olympics are like. Boy, it'd be really nice. Oh, here we go. Let's try this right here. That's how that works. No, I don't know what we're doing here. We're just trying to do some interactive exhibits. And I just did some skeleton, which, by the way, skeleton is going to start at the Olympics in Beijing. Colorado's Katie Uhlaender is going to be taking part in that, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But what makes this museum so great, and 60,000 square feet of museum, is you're not only going to learn about all sorts of stuff Olympic oriented, but as we said, it's all very interactive. So there's a lot of different places where you can learn how to do different sports. You can test your skills at them. You can run with people. And then just down here, because you mentioned it, Chris, is the lab. And this is cool because we know so much about technology these days and how technology helps athletes gain that competitive advantage. And this is a whole area right here that focuses on a lot of that. Lab and learn how, speed skates will give or their speed suits, and it also gets into Paralympians as well, because they use so much technology with their prosthetics, maybe the chairs that they're competing in, and so you can go right up to these screens and just learn all sorts of stuff. And that's probably one of the most interactive museums you're ever going to go to. And during the Olympics, it's just a wonderful place to learn about the history of the games, but also the future of the games as far as some of this technology goes. And even the technology in the lab is pretty cool. You don't touch anything in it. Just wave your hand in front of the screen, and then you can just go ahead and start learning about different things. So in this case, we're going to learn about wheelchair landscape. So we don't even touch the screen because everything is all about technology here. And so you're going to learn about Paralympic performances and how they are increased with different kind of technology. So Chris, this is just a great place to hang out.
That is just amazing, especially the interactive component of that, and so many interactive exhibits. You mentioned 60,000 square feet. Out of curiosity, Matt, who is behind this museum? Is this the Olympic Committee that's behind this museum?
Yeah, there's a lot of different partners with it, but it's the USOPC, and then it's the museum itself, which is its own entity as well. And this is years in the making. I mean, you go back historically and you talk about the need for an Olympic museum in the United States that focuses on U.S. athletes and U.S. Paralympic athletes, and it's been talked about for a long time, and it wasn't until just recently, right before the games in South Korea, and then Tokyo, that this really started to shape up and become something. In fact, Tokyo is right when they started rolling a lot of this out. And so a lot of other countries have these type of museums. The United States has always been lacking a little bit, but now we've got it right here in Colorado Springs, where the United States Olympic Training Center is located, and now where the United States Olympic and Paralympic Museum is.
Colorado is the heart of the Winter Olympics. Between the museum, between the USOC, of course, between the amount of athletes that are from here. Speaking of which, one of those key athletes, obviously been a tough start to the Olympics for Mikaela Shiffrin so far, but the Vale-born Shiffrin goes again tonight, Matt. Anything that you're thinking about or expecting after what's obviously been a bit of an unusual start to the Olympics for the superstar Mikaela Shiffrin?
Yeah, no, this will be an interesting night. You know, you talk about her signature and events that she's really strong in, and she's raced in those and has not been able to finish them, the GS and the slalom. Tonight is the Super G, so we're into speed events, Super G and downhill. Those typically aren't her best races, but she's going into them because she kind of has to. She hasn't gotten a medal. She hasn't done well at the games. She's got to get into these speed events. Doesn't mean she can't win or medal in them, because she's done that in the past. And so anything could happen tonight at the Super G. The real reason why I think she's doing this race tonight is because she's got her eye on the combined. That's the Super G and the slalom, and then it's a combined score to see who wins that. So she's got to be able to do that downhill race first. That puts her into the combined part in that race and participate in it. The Shiffrins are meeting with some family friends, doing another watch for Mikaela today as she races.
Mikaela tonight and Team USA. Same with Chloe Kim and Nathan Chen and tonight as well. So anyways, thanks so much for your time, and thanks for joining us there from the Olympic and Paralympic Museum there in Colorado Springs today. Thanks so much to Matt Renoux for joining us from there, and for a bit more on what we can expect tonight at the Beijing Olympics. Take a listen to this for, again, a bit more on what you can.
Shaun White drops into the half pipe for one final run. The reigning career on that medal stand. Women's hockey team faces the Czech Republic in the quarter. The American men kick off their hockey group play against China. Looks to add to her Winter Games medal total. Can Rosie Brennan compete in the women's